Welcome to the Padres Postgame Show on the Padres Radio Network. Coming up, we'll deliver a full recap of today's game, including highlights from the biggest moments. We'll take a trip down to the manager's office to hear from Mike Schilt. Plus, we'll bring you scores from around Major League Baseball. The Padres Postgame Show starts now on the Padres Radio Network.
Here's the 0-1 to Kim. That's in the air. Deep to left field, way back. No error necessary. Gonna go. 3-run homer. Ha-Sung Kim. He has gone deep in back-to-back games, and the Padres have a 4-0 lead.
The Padres bats once again alive in a big way. Padres win it 13-1 against the Arizona Diamondbacks. 13 runs on 14 hits, including 3 home runs, the first of which came from Ha-Sung Kim. Padres would score 4 in the second inning, 4 in the fourth inning, 4 in the fifth inning, 1 in the sixth inning, a baker's dozen here on this Saturday night at Petco Park. The Padres have won 2 in a row against Arizona. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. Padres back even at 500 at 34-34. Arizona drops to 30-35. We talked about the home runs, 3 of them here tonight. A 3-run shot for Ha-Sung Kim. That came in the second. A 3-run shot from Jake Cronenworth. That came in the fourth inning. The Padres got their final run on Kyle Higashioka's solo home run, the Padres' 3rd home run of the night. Kyle also, of course, behind the plate, catching Matt Waldron tonight. He was really good. 6 innings, 1 run given up. And we'll hear from Kyle Higashioka in just a moment. Just caught up with him down on the field. But just a really, really nice win for the Padres here tonight. The offense for a second straight game, 14 hits, Padres scoring 10 runs last night, 13 runs here tonight. Again, an effort where throughout the game offensively, they found ways to score early, they found ways to slug, they found ways to add on, and the pitching, a big part of the story here tonight. Matt Waldron, really for a 6th consecutive start, was terrific in this game. I caught up with Kyle Higashioka, the Padres catcher, on the field right after tonight's game. Kyle, another home run here tonight. What's led to this recent power for you?
I mean, honestly, I'm just trying to do less, actually. I'm just trying to put the bat on the ball, trying to curb the strikeouts a little bit and keep it simple. So, it just happens to be that the ball's getting out.
Another big offensive game for this team as a whole. These last couple of nights, what do you feel like this offense is doing well, really top to bottom throughout this lineup?
I think we're just controlling the zone, having good at-bats, and, we've been having good at-bats, recently. It's just it hasn't really been going our way exactly. So, you can see we're just continuing with the process and having good at-bats, and now we're generating a lot of runs, so it's good. That's what you want to see.
Let's talk about Matt Waldron. 6 strong innings once again here tonight. The last 6 starts, he's been terrific. What's the key right now for Matt? What is he doing so well?
He's just pitching with a lot of confidence. He's throwing strikes, pitching with confidence, trusting his stuff, and I think that's the biggest key for him.
How's the knuckleball been looking?
Good, really good. I think maybe I'm getting a little more comfortable with it, but it's always tough.
Kyle, great job tonight. Nice win. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Sam.
Kyle Higashioka, another very, very nice night for Kyle. He continues to swing the bat well when he's getting opportunities. Last 4 games he's appeared in, he now has 3 home runs going back to June 1st. And Kyle has 2 home runs now in this series. So you heard from him there. He's not trying to do too much. He's trying to do less. And Kyle Higashioka swinging the bat well right now. 5 for his last 14. And again, 3 of those hits have been home runs. So a good night for Kyle Higashioka at the plate and behind the plate. He caught a pitching staff here tonight that gave up just 1 run on 5 hits. The offense also a big story in this one. 13 runs on 14 hits for the Padres as they beat Arizona 13-1. When we come back on our post-game coverage, we'll have all the radio highlights for you. We'll go back downstairs, hear from Padres manager Mike Schilt, and much, much more to come. Padres win a 2nd in a row. They're back at 500 at 34-34, and they'll go for a series win against the D-backs tomorrow. More post-game coverage coming up after this. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight, the Padres 13 and the Diamondbacks 1. Padres scoring 13 runs on 14 hits. Another huge offensive night. You look at the last couple of days, Padres have a grand total of 23 runs on 28 hits, including 6 home runs. So the Bats have really woken up in a major way, which is good to see. Consider this, in the 5-game losing streak before yesterday's game, they had 11 runs combined, and the Padres have now scored 23 runs in the last couple of games. So the offense doing some really, really great things. The pitching as well continues to be really, really good for this team. As we continue to wrap this one up, we'll go back downstairs here at Petco Park and hear some post-game reaction in just a little bit. But first, let's recap what was a fun Saturday night here in downtown San Diego.
What moments had the biggest impact on today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game recap on the Padres Radio Network.
We had a scoreless game heading to the bottom half of the second. The Padres rallied against Diamondback starter Ryan Nelson. Donovan Solano singled. David Peralta singled. There were 2 on with nobody out for Jackson Merrill.
0-2 the pitch. Merrill hits it on the ground, right to Walker deep at first, goes down to second, and he threw it into left field. Solano going to come in and score. Throw goes to third. Peralta is safe. And a big boo-boo by the Gold Glove first baseman, Christian Walker. Padres take a 1-0 lead.
It was a really bad throw from Walker, not even close to the second base bag, and it ended up being very, very costly. The lead was about to get a whole lot larger. Ha-Sung Kim was next.
Here's the 0-1 to Kim. That's in the air. Deep to left field, way back. No error necessary. Gonna go! 3-run homer, Ha-Sung Kim. He has gone deep in back-to-back games, and the Padres have a 4-0 lead.
Matt Waldron was perfect early on, 12 up and 12 down to begin his night. 4 perfect innings. Padres still led 4-0 going to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a 1-out double. Jerks and Profar walk. The D-backs went to lefty and former Padre Logan Allen to face Jake Cronenworth.
4-0 Padres, 2 on 1 out. Cronenworth goes after the first pitch, sends it in the air deep to center. Carroll's back to watch. Gonna go! Second 3-run homer of the night for the Padres. Kim in the second. Now Cronenworth in the 4th, and it's 7-0.
Second 3-run homer of the night for the Padres in the first 4 innings of this game. Pods weren't done. David Peralta hit a 2-out double. Jackson Merrill dug in again.
3-2, line the other way. That's a fair ball down the left field line, all the way into the corner. Peralta's going to score easily. Merrill into second, holding his helmet with an RBI double, and it's 8-0.
Merrill's second double of the game. He had a big night. It was the Padres' second 4-run inning in the first 4 innings of this game. D-backs got a few hits and a run against Matt Waldron in the top of the 5th inning to make it 8-1. That was no big deal. Padres responded in the bottom half. The bases were loaded for Jake Cronenworth.
And Cronenworth swings, loops it into shallow left field. That is going to drop. And a base hit. Higashioka on his way. He'll score. A rise is held as the throw comes in quickly. An RBI single for Cronenworth. And the Padre lead is 9-1.
Donovan Solano plated another run with a sac fly. The Padres had a 10-1 lead. There were still 2 on with 2 out for David Peralta.
Pitch 9 to Peralta, lined into right field. McCarthy over to the gap, not going to get there. Going to get a couple more runs home. Peralta will stop at second. It's a 2-run double, a second double in as many innings, and the Padre lead is now 12-1.
It was the Padres' 3rd separate 4-run inning. They led 12-1 after 5. Matt Waldron would go 6 strong innings in this game. 1 run given up on 94 pitches. The Padres kept on pouring it on. In the bottom half of the 6th inning, it was time for Higgy.
And a 3-2 to Higashioka. Hit in the air to deep center field. Carroll's racing straight back. On the move, at the track, looking up, gonna go! Another one! Kyle Higashioka with his 2nd home run of the series. Got him on Thursday, gets him again here on a Saturday night, and lucky 13, the Padres up 13-1 on the Diamondbacks.
A big offensive night for the Padres, a baker's dozen in the run department. How about that? Padres, 10 runs yesterday, 13 runs here today. That was about all the story in this one. Again, Matt Waldron, absolutely terrific in this game. 6 innings, 1 run given up. Bullpen did the rest. Stephen Kolek, 2 scoreless innings out of the pen. Nice bounce back for him. Johnny Brito, a scoreless 9th inning to shut the door. And that was the story here tonight. Padres win their 2nd in a row. Now they have an opportunity to win this series tomorrow. Padres back even to 500 at 34-34. Diamondbacks now 30-35. Matt Waldron, the winner, picks up his 4th win of the season as he continues to be really, really good. We'll have plenty on Waldron coming up a little bit later. Let's go downstairs here at Petco Park and hear some post-game reaction.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Schultz. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
Mike, does this fall under the category of hitting is contagious?
Yeah, I think it does, Scan. Falls into that category for sure. Also falls into what we talked about before the game about like being the sweet spot. Sweet spot of, being able to do a lot of different things offensively, base hits, doubles, and of course, 3 homers helps as well.
Yeah, and you talked about it with George Kissel having a lot of tools in the toolbox
That's
to go
right.
to. It seems like you guys have shown all of them, including the power of the last 2 games.
Yeah, I feel like we've had a good blend of it, like I alluded to pregame, and then got in the stretch where, we're still getting our hits. We weren't doing damage. Now we're back to that spot where we're doing damage and still getting our hits and using the whole field. So clearly it's a good brand of baseball.
Another nice outing from Matt Waldron, and some unique challenges tonight in terms of having to sit there for long periods of time in between some of the innings. Did that have any effect on him, or just how good did he respond to that?
It is something you learn to do as a starter, and we're grateful for that learning curve to have long innings, and feel like maybe it affected him going and back out for the 5th a little bit. And give him credit because, we got an 8-0 lead, and next thing you know, they got a lot of traffic, and he was able to limit the damage to 1. That was, a nice part of the game. But, Matty did a really nice job again. Pitch, used all his weapons. They mixed very well. Knuckleball was able to set up the other pitches, but the fastball and the sweeper had some life to it, so he did a really nice job to get us through 6.
So many offensive guys that we could talk about, but just Jackson Merrill for just a moment. His first multi-extra base hit game, it seems strange, like he's been so consistent all season long, and then makes that diving play at the end. Is the season that he's putting together maybe getting overlooked a little bit at times?
Not by us. I can, maybe peripherally outside of our clubhouse, but it's not getting overlooked by me and his teammates and our staff. He done a nice job taking what the game gives him, making adjustments when he has to, staying within himself, trusting his ability, which he clearly has a lot of. But, good swings, again, rope to the right, and, stays on the ball and drives it. And he's done that multiple times where he just stays on it and drives that ball to left field, and it's really impressive. And then, I love the, it's a game that, it's not a completely close game, and he's playing it regardless of circumstance, and that's what a winning player does, and goes out in that 9th inning and makes a highlight-level play, and that's what really exceptional players do. They're always on point, and Jackson's always on point. He's a great competitor.
Kyle Higashioka now with home runs in his last 2 consecutive games and doing a great job handling Matt. Your thoughts on what he's been able to do?
Yeah, he's done a tremendous job handling Matt. They've really started to sync up very well together, and that's a nice combination with those two. And his bats have been really good. He's got pop in his bat, as we're seeing. The ball comes off his bat really well, and he started a big inning and the base hit to left, and ball he drove to center. So he's just doing a nice job all the way around.
Mike, you sat here a couple nights ago and said, this club will be fine. It was obvious you weren't going to lose forever, but and you guys knew that they were close. But the way you've emphatically come out and responded these last 2 nights, what do you see in your team?
I see more of the same, that we've basically done all year. But I got to tell you, the effort level has met the focus level. It's a group that's really like, all right, we got to figure this out consistently, and we're not. And I don't want to minimize that it wouldn't happen earlier, because it was completely happened earlier. We just, hey, let's keep the pedal down. Regardless of circumstance, let's keep going. Talking about Jackson, makes that play in the 9th. Just continue to have good at bats and trust our ability and trust the guy behind you, and that's what the club's doing.
David Peralta, he he's contributed in different ways, but he was also a guy who had a tough time getting a job and went through a cold spell, and clearly he can still hit. What do you see in David Peralta?
Man, what a good at bat. We had some really, really, really good at bats. I'll get to one in a minute, but sticking on Peralta, what a nice evening. Really tough at bats, got down a couple of times in the count, just competed his tail off. Base hit to left, big 2-run double in the gap. Just short stroke, not trying to do too much. Got a real clear idea what he's doing, but he's really brings great energy, and he's bringing some really consistently good at bats. So glad to have him. He's been a nice addition.
We talked about the sweet spot, and you just brought it up. I'm wondering if tonight is maybe an example of kind of the way the two can build off each other. You work enough, and you work enough deep counts and whatnot, and you get a pitcher in a spot like that. If it kind of can set up the long ball in that way.
Not only is there any question about that, it sets up the long ball. I think it's an excellent point. It's a good baseball point because you take a lot of quality at bats and you make guys work. The at bat that Solano had, I can't remember the inning. I didn't put the note on it as far as the inning, but maybe the third. Yeah, he had the 9-pitch at bat, and it's just like we had 2 quick outs. Their guy was at, can't remember exactly the number of pitches he was at, but we were starting the first 2 innings to, I'm pretty sure it was the third. We were starting to put some pitches on him. We have 2 quicker outs, and I think then third, and then Donnie has like a 11-pitch at bat, 9-pitch at bat maybe, and just sets up, like you say, Peralta, and then just wears guys down, and then you're likely to get more mistakes, and the more mistakes you get, the more damage you do. So it's definitely a part of the offensive machine.
That was Padres manager Mike Schilt after tonight's game. A lot of good stuff to talk about, a lot to smile about. And this one as the Padres beat the Diamondbacks 13-1. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. Padres win a second consecutive game. They'll have an opportunity to win this 4-game series tomorrow. Offensively, it was up and down the lineup here today. Everybody in the Padres lineup got on base in this ball game. 8 out of the 9 batters had a base hit in this ball game. I'll just take you through the box score right now, down the lineup. Luis Arraez had a couple of hits, a run scored. Fernando Tatis Jr. had a double and a run scored. Jerkson Profar didn't have a hit in this game, but a couple of walks, couple of runs scored. Jake Cronenworth, 2 hits, 4 RBIs, and the 3-run homer in this game. Donovan Solano had an RBI hit in this game. David Peralta, 3 hits in this game, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. He had a really, really great night. Like we heard during the postgame press conference there, Jackson Merrill, really nice night. And I did not realize that. I'd have to run through his game log, but I did not realize it was his first game this season with multiple extra base hits, but it was. Had a double in the third, RBI double in the 4th inning. He's swinging the bat better as of late, hitting .272 on the year. Had the great catch in center in the 9th inning. We'll talk more about Merrill a little bit later because I think it's an interesting conversation. Debate, if you will. I don't know if it's a debate, but an interesting conversation to have if he's getting a little bit overlooked in how solid he's been, considering the context of his season, how young he is, and really where he was at as far as minor league experience. Entering this season, he's been really, really solid in the first 2+ months of this season. It's been awfully impressive. But again, 2 hits tonight for Merrill, couple of doubles. Ha-Sung Kim, the 3-run home run in the 2nd inning to make it 4-0. And then Kyle Higashioka, 2 hits, a home run. 3rd home run in the last 4 games for Higashioka. So he continues to be really good. And then on top of that, Matt Waldron, another really, really good start. 4 perfect innings to begin his night. Got into a lot of trouble in the 5th inning. Bases loaded, nobody out. Padres were already ahead 8-0 at that point, but Waldron even did a good job in that inning, allowing just 1 run. It got through the 6th inning, worked around a leadoff walk, 94 pitches through 6 innings. Padres at that point had a 12-1 lead. That was enough for Waldron here tonight. Quality outing once again. You look at Matt Waldron's last 6 starts. Here are the numbers. 1.78 ERA, 0.91 WHIP, 35 innings and a third, 39 strikeouts. Again, a 1.78 ERA in his last 6 starts, spanning 35+ innings, and he continues to get strikeouts. Only had 4 here tonight. but you could see it early on if you heard our pregame interview with Tom Candiotti of the Diamondbacks broadcast crew, former Major League knuckleballer, long, successful career in the major leagues, more than 150 wins in the major leagues. We had just an outstanding pregame interview with him on the radio side of things here today, and you heard Tom talk about the importance of landing that knuckleball early. And he did that here tonight, Matt Waldron. You could see it early on. He was landing it. He was generating swings and misses on it, and he started the game 4 perfect innings, 12 up, 12 down, and he continues to be just a really, really good story for this team here in 2024. Waldron's ERA is down to 3.76. He has been beyond solid. He's been great as of late. So, you know, you look back at that outing he had in Arizona to begin May. It did not go well, but from that point on, he's been just great, and you almost wonder if that outing in Arizona may be a turning point in the sense of, you know, he learned some things from that outing. Obviously, we've heard a lot from him about the change in preparation and all the different adjustments that he and Ruben Niebla continue to make, but Matt Waldron, terrific here tonight. We'll talk more about everything as we go along here on the Padres Radio Network. Before we go to break, let's quickly pause for Station ID on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we wrap this one up. Lot to do. We will get you involved as we go along here. Phone number 833-288-0973. Again, 833-288-0973 if you want to get involved on the phones. If you want to tweet at me or Instagram DM me, you can do that at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV on both those platforms. May just read your tweet or your message live here on the air. If you want to comment on the video streams, you can do that as well. Plus, a little bit later, we will revisit our pregame segment with the 11-year-old Rhett, who predicted here tonight that not only would the Padres win, but Rhett predicted, if you heard the pregame show, one of the guys that hit a home run here tonight. Rhett predicted it. He deserves credit for this win. He deserves a game ball for this win. Rhett, nice job. We are going to revisit what Rhett had to say before the game. What a fun moment. And a fun night here at Petco Park as the Padres beat the Diamondbacks 13-1. More post-game coverage after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building and at Petco Park. Padres back to 500 at 34-34. They'll have an opportunity to move above 500 once again tomorrow afternoon here at Petco Park. We'll have much more on tomorrow's game, the series finale of this 4-game set coming up a little bit later on. You can call into our post-game show as always. A lot of good stuff to talk about from this one. Phone number as always, 833-288-0973. Again, the phone number, 833-288-0973. If you want to get involved, you can also tweet at me at Sammy Lev, SAMMYLEV. Same handle on Instagram. Send me a message there, and I may just read your tweet, your DM, your comments on the video streams, or take your phone call a little bit later on. Before we continue talking about this game, I do want to tell you, just because it came to my attention courtesy of our studio coordinator, Frank Marchese, I want to tell you about what is going on in El Paso, Texas right now with the El Paso Chihuahuas, AAA affiliate of the Padres, because it is a line score that is pretty insane. El Paso hosting Las Vegas, AAA team of the A's tonight. Let me try to break this down via the line score. So Las Vegas, at the end of 4 innings, had a 15-3 lead. 15-3. They were up at the end of 4 innings. The Chihuahuas have proceeded to score 5 runs in the bottom half of the 5th inning to make it 15-8. The Chihuahuas then went on to score 9 runs in the bottom half of the 7th inning to make it 17-15. So again, this was a 15-3 deficit for El Paso after 4 innings. 15-3. And then bottom half of the 5th inning, El Paso scores 5 to make it 15-8. They score 9 in the bottom half of the 7th inning to make it a 17-15 game. And I have not, dove into the box score to this game. But what I'm looking at right here, the score is 17-16 El Paso, now going into the 9th inning, so the Chihuahuas are 3 outs away from getting a win. Each team has 14 hits. How is that possible? 16 runs on 14 hits and 17 runs on 14 hits. Let me see here. Chihuahuas have walked 8 times. Aviators have walked 7 times. So, anyway, it was so wild I had to talk about it. El Paso leading Las Vegas 17-16 in El Paso here tonight. What a ball game. Hey. We root for the Chihuahuas, of course, here on the Padres Radio Network. And, hey, the AAA team doing a good impression of the big league team here tonight. Padres had 13 runs on 14 hits in this one. So both at the AAA level and the big league level, the bats exploding tonight for Padres, big leaguers, and AAA players all over the place here tonight. Let's tell you about tonight's relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher was able to come in and slam the door shut? It's time for the relief pitcher of the game in support of the Jacobs and Cushman San Diego Food Bank, providing food assistance to local children, families, and seniors in need. To get help or give help, visit SanDiegoFoodBank.org.
Our relief pitcher of the game here tonight, we've got 2 options. Can either give it to Stephen Kolek or Johnny Brito. And we'll give it to Stephen Kolek here tonight. 2 scoreless innings, 1 hit given up, struck out 3, walked 1. Stephen Kolek, very good in this game. Really nice opportunity for Kolek to get things back on track. The last time we saw him before tonight was that Friday night in Kansas City. It had been more than a week since we saw Stephen Kolek, that really, really tough outing in Kansas City in that series opener where he gave up 5 runs on 6 hits, got 2 outs in what was a blowout game. Looked like it would be a blowout win for the Padres that Friday in Kansas City. So, a good spot here tonight for Mike Schilt to use him and try to get him back on track. And Kolek much better here tonight. Again, 2 scoreless innings for Kolek. He threw 27 pitches, 18 for strikes. So Stephen Kolek, our relief pitcher of the game here tonight. That's one benefit of the last two games, aside from the great starting pitching, aside from the great offense from the Padres. The fact that the Padres, for whatever it's worth, were able to take two relievers that had really had some tough outings. First last night in Yuki Matsui, and here tonight in Stephen Kolek. And they were able to find them very soft landing spots to sort of get back out there and try to get back on track. Matsui, a scoreless inning to end the game last night. Kolek, 2 scoreless innings in this one. So that's just a little mini positive from these 2 blowout wins. The fact that the Padres have had some spots where they could try to get Matsui and Kolek back on track. You hope that ends up paying dividends in the days and weeks to come. When we come back on the Padres Radio Network, we'll have our player of the game, take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Phone number if you want to get involved, 833-288-0973. Again, 833-288-0973 if you want to get involved. Our post-game show continues after this. Padres win it 13-1 here tonight on the Padres Radio Network. Here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight, Padres 13 and the Diamondbacks 1. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building as the Padres win a second consecutive game. They'll have a chance to win 3 out of 4 tomorrow against Arizona, move back to above 500. We'll see if they can do that with young right-hander Adam Mazur making his second major league start tomorrow. We'll talk more about tomorrow's game coming up a little bit later on. Coming up in this segment, we'll have our player of the game. We'll also have our play of the game a little bit later, where we will revisit what 11-year-old Rhett on the pregame show today had to say and predicted before today's game. A tremendous prediction by Rhett 11-year-old Padres fan on the pregame today. So we'll get more into that in our final segment here tonight. But let's go to the phones. 833-288-0973, the phone number to call. Let's lead things off here tonight with Johnny calling in from San Diego. Hi, Johnny. You're on the Padres postgame show with Sam Levitt. How are you?
Good, Sammy. Just worked today's game, and we did score a lot of runs in the home run by Kim and Tai Yoshika. So that pitch by Matt Walden, Sammy, and hopefully you'll bounce back somewhere from Adam. What's his pitcher's name? Mauser? Adam?
Adam Major, I think you're talking about,
Adam
Johnny.
Major, yeah.
Yep.
So we'll beat the Diamondbacks tomorrow, okay, Sammy?
Yeah, hope so, Johnny, and appreciate the phone call. Yeah, look, great job by Waldron. Great home runs here tonight. A couple of 3-run home runs, one by Kim, one by Cronenworth, and then the solo shot by Higashioka. So Padres had an all-around really, really nice game for the second night in a row, and the kind of games they needed after the 5-game losing skid, no doubt. Let's go to Brock calling in from San Diego. Hi, Brock.
Yo, Sammy. What's
Yo.
up?
I'm doing well, Brock. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I just want to talk about, I think it's pretty interesting and a good sign, at least, that, and even with all these injuries, you'd think we'd be really hurting. But it seems like, the guys that are filling in for us, it's not only giving other guys a chance to kind of shine, but not only are they shining, they're looking really good. So I think that's, something to be super positive about, even with a negative that, we have hurt guys down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also nice to see Tatis kind of, I wouldn't say firing on all pistons, but he's back on the road to it seems like. So that's really nice to watch that. And like you were talking about earlier with Merrill, it's really nice to see him for how young he is and, I don't want to say inexperienced, but just not that much time at the major league level. And looks like a major league player. So
yeah, for
I
sure.
just think that's awesome. So I think there's a lot of positives in some of this, past couple of days, people haven't been too probably as positive as we should be, but I think there's a lot of positive there to look at. So, but thanks for the call. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, Brock, thank you for listening. Thank you for calling in. Appreciate it. I'll touch on kind of everything you talked about there. Look, with Manny out of the lineup right now, and we'll see what the update is on him tomorrow. If he's going to be able to avoid an IL stint, we'll see what the update is in the next 24 hours or so on Manny. But again, Manny not in the lineup for a third straight game here today, and did not come off the bench. Padres certainly didn't need him to in this game. But to your point, I think it means two things without Manny and Bogarts in there. Number one, other guys got to step up. Guys like him, guys like Cronenworth, guys who had big impacts here tonight. And it's also the injuries to Bogarts and Manny. It's given opportunities to guys like Solano and Peralta to step up and have an impact. And look, Peralta had gotten off to a pretty slow start with the Padres, but he was great here tonight. 3 hits against his old team, including 2 RBIs and 3 runs scored. Peralta had 2 doubles in this game. Solano had an RBI, base hit, run scored in this game. I'll tell you what you like about Peralta and Solano, they're just veteran guys who give you a good at bat. Like, they really are. They're just veteran hitters, and I really like that about both those guys, and I do think it goes a long way. The fact that at bare minimum you're going to get a really good at bat from those two guys. And certainly, look, those two guys, at least while Manny's out here, and we'll see how long he's out for, they could get more playing time, certainly, than if Manny was in there every day. With Fernando, had a double, a run scored in this game, had the home run yesterday, extended his hitting streak to 14 games here tonight. And that actually matches a career-long hitting streak for Fernando Tatis Jr. He had a 14-game streak in the summer of 2019, so tomorrow he'll have a chance to make it a 15-game hitting streak, which would be the longest of his career. But we mentioned all the numbers, well above 400 in this now 14-game hitting streak as far as his batting average, and he's been really good. 1 for 4 tonight, had a double, had a run scored, so he was productive. He's been a lot better lately, he really has. And while we're on it, let's do a little talking about Jackson Merrill, because it came up in the post-game press conference with Mike Schilt. Jackson got off to such a good start offensively. It got a little bit colder, over the last handful of weeks, which is not a big deal at all, okay? I think with Jackson Merrill, you look at the overall picture of what this guy has done so far this year, and you put it in the context of where he was at in his baseball professional career, entering spring training, entering this season. Let's keep this in mind. This guy on opening day was 20. He's now 21, but he was 20 years old with just a bit of experience at Double-A. He was handed a center field job at a spring training, a position that before spring training he had never played before. So to hold his own, more than hold his own, but to do what he's done offensively and play the quality of center field he has, in my mind, exceeded any expectation you could have had, considering all those factors, considering his age, considering the lack of minor league experience, considering not playing center field ever. He was a shortstop last year. His whole life he was a shortstop. I just think it's been awfully impressive. And obviously the offense has cooled down a bit. Great to see him have a couple of doubles here tonight. You hope it's a sign of things to come. RBI and a run scored tonight as well. But listen to his line so far this year. 272 average, 3 home runs, 23 RBIs. Look, he hasn't slugged a ton. He does have the 3 home runs. But, again, I think everybody's got to be very, very happy with what he's done. I mean, I felt coming into the year for Jackson, you just wanted him to hold his own, right? Considering the age and all the things we just talked about. And to me, he has well beyond done that. So he's only going to get better and better and better. I think it's been totally good with Jackson Merrill to this point. He's going to only get better. He's only going to get stronger. He's only going to have more pop. And he's already a guy who puts together a really good at-bat, who can go to all fields, hits line drives. Like, to hit 272, considering all those factors, in your first 200 at-bats in the major leagues, I think is really good. Like, there is no issue with what Jackson Merrill has done so far in a Padre uniform. To me, he has done exactly what you hoped he would do, and he deserves a ton of credit for that. And I think with Jackson, it's just going to get better and better and better. He just turned 21 years old. All right, let's continue to move along here on the post-game coverage. Let's quickly take a look at the full out-of-town scoreboard around the major leagues tonight.
Let's take a trip around the bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
We take a look at scores from around the major leagues today. We do have one game still going on right now. Astros and the Angels in Anaheim. Astros 6, Angels 1 in the 8th inning. Everything else has gone final today. Phillies beat the Mets in London. 7-2, Phillies over the Mets. Bryce Harper, a home run in that game. Nick Castellanos, a home run in that game for the Phillies. Nationals beat the Braves 7-3 in D.C. Nick Senzel, a 2-run shot in that one for Washington. Pirates blanked the Twins 4-0 in Pittsburgh. Rowdy Tellez, a home run in that game for the Pirates. Giants beat the Rangers 3-1 in Arlington. Blue Jays beat the A's 7-0 in Oakland. Orioles over the Rays 5-0 in Tampa Bay. Gunnar Henderson, a 3-run home run in that game for the O's. White Sox beat the Red Sox 6-1 in Chicago. Gavin Sheets, a grand slam in that game for the White Sox. White Sox have now won 2 in a row. Break up the Sox. Reds beat the Cubs 4-3 in Cincinnati. TJ Friedel, home run in that game for Cincy. Brewers beat the Tigers 5-4 in Detroit. Royals over the Mariners 8-4 in Kansas City. Rockies beat the Cardinals 6-5 in St. Louis. Ezekiel Tovar, 2 home runs in that game for the Rocks. Guardians beat the Marlins 8-0 in Miami. Stephen Kwan, a 2-run blast in that game for Cleveland. Dodgers beat up on the Yankees 11-3 in New York. Teoscar Hernandez grand slam in that one. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Saturday. Saturday it is, right? Yes, Saturday night across the major leagues. That time of year, into June of the baseball season, all the days start sort of blending together. Let's tell you about tonight's player of the game.
Which player had the biggest impact on today's game? Let's find out who is today's player of the game. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Catch every game at Patties and Pints. Plus, enjoy $4 beer every Thursday. Visit valleyviewcasino.com today.
Our player of the game here tonight. Man, you can go a lot of ways with this. You really, really can. Cronenworth is certainly an attractive candidate. The 3-run home run. He had the most RBIs of anybody tonight. Kim had the 3-run home run. Peralta had 3 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. You could always go with Waldron. 6 innings, 1 run given up. But you know what? We'll go with Jake. 4 RBI game, 3-run home run. Go with Jake. Why not? Jake Cronenworth, our player of the game here tonight. Cronenworth blasting his 9th home run of the year, but tough one to pick here tonight. A lot of good candidates. You like games where you have a lot of good candidates for player of the game. We certainly had that here tonight. Padres win it 13-1 over the Diamondbacks. When we come back, we'll hear our play of the game. We'll revisit the great prediction from the pregame with 11-year-old Rhett. So we'll get into that when we come back. We'll also revisit my post-game conversation with Kyle Higashioka in case you missed it, and we'll wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow, the series finale of this 4-game set. More post-game coverage after this on the Padres Radio Network. Our post-game show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score here tonight, Padres 13 and the Diamondbacks 1 as the Padres crank out 13 runs on 14 hits, the second consecutive game where the Padres have had 14 hits on the dot. So in the first, or I should say, the second, well, In the last two games of this series, games 2 and 3 of this series, Padres have a grand total of 23 runs on 28 hits, including 6 home runs. So it has been a lot of fun to watch. Really good to see the Padres offense wake up the way it has over the course of the past 24 hours plus now. And like I said earlier, and like I said yesterday, not only just the run totals, the hit totals, because the Padres, it's kind of crazy. You look at it, even going back to the start of the 5-game losing skid, they have out-hit their opponent in each of the last 7 games now. Now, they're only 2 and 5 in those games, but they do continue to just rack up hits, which in the long run is a good thing. And what you liked again here tonight, it was truly up and down the lineup. It was everybody, and it was throughout the game. Tonight, Padres had 3 separate 4-run innings. They had 4 runs in the 2nd, in the 4th, and the 5th inning. 1 more in the 6th inning for good measure. A baker's dozen here tonight. Padres win it 13-1. We told you a little bit earlier, because it was such a wacky game in El Paso tonight, that the Chihuahuas, who were once down 15-1 in that game in El Paso to the Las Vegas Aviators, while they had taken a 17-15 lead. El Paso hangs on to win it in Texas tonight at AAA, 17-16. So that's the update from El Paso. What a wacky game, 17-16, and the Chihuahuas trailed. I'm not kidding, they were down 15-1 at one point in that game, and came back to win it 17-16. That's the PCL for you, ain't it? It's a crazy league and a crazy game on this Saturday in El Paso. Well, we had a really nice moment here tonight on the pregame show, and I'm very lucky here inside the loft at the Western Metal Building. One of my favorite parts about this job the past 2-3 seasons has been being here, and it gives me an opportunity to meet a lot of fans, to talk to a lot of fans each and every night. I know many of you have come up and said hello before, and to those of you, if you see me walking around the ballpark, you say hello. Always stop me, say hello, please. It's always great talking to everybody, meeting everybody. But one of my real favorite things is we also get kids that come out, come up here, and want to say hello. Maybe they listen, maybe they watch on YouTube, maybe they follow on social media, TikTok, whatever it might be. And I get to meet parents, kids, all different kinds of fans, right? So you may have heard on the pregame show a few times this year, every once in a while, if I have a kid come up and say hello, I'll say, hey, you want to come on the air? I'll give you a headset. You can tell me who your favorite player is and make a prediction about the game. So we had an 11-year-old Padres fan named Rhett come up to the loft here tonight, just sort of randomly. And I said to Rhett, hey, you want to come on the air? I'll get my headset for you, and we'll talk Padres. And he was all excited about it. So Rhett came on the air pregame. I asked Rhett who his favorite player was. He said Fernando Tatis Jr. I asked Rhett for a prediction for tonight's game. Rhett said the Padres were going to win, so 2 for 2 right there. Fernando's your favorite player. Padres are going to win. But the best part about this was I then asked Rhett, and I did not tell Rhett I was going to ask him this beforehand, because look, before they come on, I do want them to have an idea of what I'm going to say to them so they can think about it. But I asked Rhett, and this was kind of the wild card question. I said, anybody going to hit a home run in this game? And Rhett thought about it for a moment, and he said Jake Cronenworth. And wouldn't you know it, in the bottom half of the 4th inning here tonight, with 2 men on base, Jake Cronenworth made 11-year-old Rhett look like a genius. Great job, Rhett. Here's tonight's play of the game.
What was the crucial play that determined who came out on top? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Anybody hit a home run?
Jake Cronenworth.
4-0 Padres, 2 on 1 out. Cronenworth goes after the first pitch, sends it in the air deep to center. Carroll's back to watch, gonna go! Second 3-run homer of the night for the Padres. Kim in the second, now Cronenworth in the 4th, and it's 7-0.
Our play of the game here tonight, not just the home run from Jake Cronenworth, the 3-run shot in the 4th inning to make it 7-0, but how about 11-year-old Rhett calling the shot? What a nice moment. Great job, Rhett. You earned part of this win here tonight, no doubt about it. Our play of the game, Jake Cronenworth, the home run, 1 of 3 hit here tonight by the Padres. Kim, the 3-run home run in the 2nd. Cronenworth, 3-run home run in the 4th inning, and the solo shot by Kyle Higashioka in the bottom half of the 6th as the Padres score 13 runs on 14 hits. All right, taking a look ahead to tomorrow. Right-hander Adam Major on the mound for the Padres tomorrow, making his 2nd major league start. Right-hander Scott McGough, who pitched here tonight, pitched a scoreless inning in the 7th. He will open for the D-backs tomorrow. So sounds like it's going to be more of a bullpen game for the D-backs tomorrow. They had been TBA throughout this series as far as their starting pitcher for the final game of the series. And I'll tell you what, and I'm going to have to get a little bit more information, do a little digging here tonight and into tomorrow. And I just haven't had a moment to do it here tonight to figure out if it's a bullpen game, a true bullpen game. Do the Diamondbacks have a guy who's going to pitch some bulk innings tomorrow? But it does sound like one way or another it is going to be a bullpen-type game for the Diamondbacks tomorrow. And that's pretty interesting because it's not like, it's been a totally light series for their bullpen. They had to use 3 relievers tonight. They had to use Humberto Castellanos yesterday, although Castellanos was optioned back to AAA earlier today, so he's, doesn't really factor in anymore. They did have to use 4 relievers on Thursday night, so I guess my point is their pitching staff had been used quite a bit coming into this series, and also so far, not crazy amount in this series, but it's not like it's been a super light series for their bullpen, or even like tonight was a super light game for the Arizona bullpen. So anyway, Scott McGough will open tomorrow's game, the right-hander on the mound for Arizona. Right-hander Adam Major again on the mound for the Padres. Afternoon baseball tomorrow. First pitch at 1:10. Arica Water SoCal Padres pregame show begins at 12:10. Certainly hope you can join us as the Padres will go for a series win. As always, if you missed any of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast with Sam Levitt, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts. If you would rather go listen or watch to any part of our post-game show, you can also do that on YouTube on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Taking a look at the final totals here tonight for the Padres: 10 runs, 14 hits, 1 error. They left on 8. For the D-backs, 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors. They left on 9. What am I looking at right now? I literally just started reading the final totals from yesterday because my scorebook is turned to the wrong page. So we're just going to rewind everything I said and start over. Final totals here tonight on Saturday, June 8th. Not Friday, June 7th. My apologies. Saturday, June 8th. For the Padres, 13 runs, 14 hits, no errors. They left on 9. For the D-backs, 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors. They left on 7. Winning pitcher in this game, Matt Waldron. He improves to 4-5. Ryan Nelson, the losing pitcher here tonight, he drops to 3-5. Time of game, 2 hours and 49 minutes. And the crowd here at Petco Park in downtown San Diego, 42,636, the 19th sellout of the season here at Petco Park. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at 1:10. Our pregame coverage begins at 12:10. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Frank Marchese, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long and good night from Petco Park. Again, the final score here tonight, the San Diego Padres 13 and the Arizona Diamondbacks 1. We'll talk to you tomorrow from Petco Park on the Padres Radio Network. Have a great night, everybody.